Okay, that makes sense. But what do you think about, again, back to the investors, because at this point, the investor is more important. And what do you think about, because right now, when I see your blockchain model, I fully understand, the marketplace concept, and although, it's based on future, but like you said, because we have to think about the future, right, from now, and assuming that actually the AR and VR market will explode in the future, then most probably Google or Apple will come into this market and they want to try to dominate it and then set like 30% or 40%, charges without any reason, right? But this.
Here's what I believe, okay? Every about 20 years, a new technology emerge and a new players are growing, okay? Think about it. It used to be IBM. Okay, if you look at the history, IBM as a technology company, out of the 100 technology companies, dominate their market share was like 80%. They shrink, came with the introduction of PC, came Microsoft, suddenly they are dominating, but still they never reached to the level of IBM. And then came Apple, and with the introduction of the internet, suddenly you have companies like Google and Airbnb and Facebook that are transforming the way we are doing business. I believe augmented reality is going to be this kind of a change. It's really hard to anticipate what will be the end game of this technology, whether we all have our glasses, equipped with augmented reality and we'll use it on day-to-day tasks. But it's clear to me that this is the right place for new technologies like blockchain to emerge and really change the power in this market.
I mean, this AR glasses, what is the market size right now?
I would say the market size now, let's talk about 2019. I would say hundreds of thousands of glasses will be sold. Okay? 100,000 mainly to Fortune 500 companies, okay? So people sometimes tend to think that enterprise is a small market. It's a huge market, okay? Because enterprises are willing to pay much more for each device and willing to invest much more in their tailor-made applications. So it's going to be a huge market on enterprise. Enterprise is going to 2022. The main reason is we need to make sure that this optics, which is pretty expensive right now, will become in the price of a regular smartphone screen. Once we hit this point, manufacturing this type of device will cost you the same as a smartphone, and then you can mass distribute. We anticipate it will happen in 2022.
Okay, and I mean, I know that the potential of kind of the target market is like endless. But I mean, you should have some kind of concentration, right? Because you cannot just build one glass for one person, for instance, right? It's going to be like mass production, right? So what's going to be the biggest areas?
So once again, currently I think education is number one, medical and engineering. Okay, so in education I explained medical is everything about the teaching a new doctor how to look at an MRI scan, a CT scan, getting prepared for an operation, and even during the operation wearing those type of glasses when all the medical information is hovering on top of the patient body, okay? And then in engineering it's endless. If today handling old power plants, handling gas and oil rafts in the sea requires a lot of knowledge, a lot of manuals, and if something gets wrong on this type of raft and you stop pumping, you lose like $1 million per an hour, I don't know. So having those type of glasses, instructing the engineer how to fix it, it's truly going to dramatically change the way engineering works. By the way, there is an amazing study by Boeing. You can find it on the internet. They tried different technologies to teach their engineers how to perform new tasks. They found out that augmented reality is by far the best technology. It reduced their total time by 25% and the number of mistakes they generate. So it's really a revolution in this technologies. It will allow engineers to perform so much better.
Okay, but every technology has a learning curve, right? And when do you think at least that this gadget will be kind of perfected?
Once again, look at the history of gadgets, okay? Usually it started as a concept or idea in the academic labs.
Right.
Then it moves to the army usage, right? Military.
Yeah,
then it moves to enterprise, then it moves to consumers. Take the smartphone, for example. When phones were cellular phones were first invented in the labs or in the universities, they moved to the military. They didn't move to. Then they moved to enterprise because the price was so high. So only CEOs and VPs were allowed to carry this big device. Once it became cost-effective, we have early adopter consumers and then mass market. Look at VR. VR didn't work like that. So you take a student project called Oculus, okay, acquired by Facebook, and from the academic world, they tried to put it directly to consumer. It didn't work. It didn't work because it didn't have the time to get perfected, as you just said. Look at AR. AR is different. So AR was invented like 20, 30 years ago, okay, in the academic lab, but there was no technology to support it. About 10, 15 years ago, the technology was mature enough mainly to support military use cases. For example, pilots, okay? So in Israel, fighter pilots are using augmented reality helmets to fly the airplane. Yeah. Okay, they have all the information on their screen. Okay, at the beginning it weighed 4 kilo. Your helmet was locked to your plane with a metal bar, but still, because it had so much value to the pilot, he was willing to wear it. Today, if you are looking at F-35 pilot, the newest US jet fighter, they are using an augmented reality helmet that was developed in Israel, okay? So the proof that in the military it's done, okay? Now we are taking it to the enterprise market. And therefore I believe, as I told you, enterprise is testing it right now. It's not that we are in the process of waiting. They are defining, we are involved in process of RFIs, of big utilities company who would like to have those type of glasses for their employees. And therefore, I believe the coming 2 to 4 years will be enterprise market. Then, in a natural course, we'll go to consumers.
Okay.
Okay. Don't expect to get this Christmas your augmented reality glasses.
I know. Yeah.
Okay?
I was just curious about when kind of we can really use this.
But
gadget.
once again, we always think about consumer, while the enterprise market is as big. Okay,
of
as
course,
consumer,
yeah. Totally agree.
as big. So. Currently, this is a market we are focusing on, supporting all the use cases of collaboration, how two engineers or two civil engineers or architects can see the same building or the same structure from different angles. It's about showing consumers in physical stores how their product that they see in the physical store can look in their house. Okay, there are so many use cases now to train enterprise users and consumers to start handling this device.
But anyway, smartphone, it was a clunky beast before, right? And then it became like this sexy thing, right?
Right.
What about this one? I mean, how do you see it, it will look like in 5 years?
It's really hard to imagine because sometimes you have those jumps in technology that are hard to imagine. Eventually, what you have here, just to explain, inside this device, you have a Snapdragon 820. So it's your 3 years ago smartphone chipset by Qualcomm. Very simple, okay? And a battery. And then what you have here are smartphone-grade cameras with IMU, inertial measuring unit, the one that tilts your screen when you are same unit here. So what is so different about yours from your smartphone? We replace the screen with those optics. This optics, to manufacture it, is still very expensive. And also the field of view, as you can see, it's pretty narrow. In those glasses, it's 40 degrees, one of the best in the world still, but it's 40 degrees. Now, 40 degrees is very good when you are focusing on tasks like...
What is 40 degree here?
The optics. If you look carefully, you see that when I'm looking at the world as a human, I can see 180 degrees, even more. Those glasses can project only on 40 degrees.
Oh, I see.
Okay? So it's very good for enterprise use cases when you are focused on a task. As a human creature, when you are focusing on reading, writing, or on shapes, usually you cannot focus on more than 40 to 60 degrees. That's it, okay? Anything else is for gaming, for feeling movement. So for enterprise, we are good. For, let's say casual gaming, we will need something like 80, 90 degrees field of view. to have a good casual
Right, like-
gaming.
yeah.
Yeah, like good chess game. But for immersive games, we will need something like 140. Okay, we're still not there.
Okay.
Okay, so there is levels of technologies that need to evolve and the price point. Okay, for enterprise, we are okay right now. Everything is in the right price point, the field of view, the weight, everything is okay. So therefore, enterprise is catching that quickly right now, and you can see studies by Boeing. You can see how they different companies are now testing the Microsoft HoloLens or our customer devices in order to make sure they know how to get the best benefit out of this technology.
I have a last question about the blockchain, by the way. Because I know that right now that the token is used for actually this. It's almost like a P2P kind of marketplace.
Right.
But the stake system, is this necessary? I was just thinking about it. Why is this necessary?
I'll tell you why it's necessary. Otherwise, anybody can come who have no interest in this system and influence it and rate and he will destroy to the rest of us who are genuinely want this network to succeed. Okay, so by staking mechanism, we make sure that everybody have,
An interest.
a genuine interest in the network is willing to put into it, and it's not going to any business body. It's going to the network in order to facilitate all the interaction. That's the good part. It's not that you are paying infinity to do that. It's not mine. It's a staking mechanism
All right.
that will come back to the network to grow it later on.
But does it make it your token? Does it turn it into a security token then?
No, not at all. Okay, because not at all. On the contrary. By the way, we are now raising money. We're doing equity and the utility token to show you that it's totally disconnected. Okay, we have same investors who will invest in the ICO in parallel to equity because it's clear to them that it's totally different. They can never get real equity within Infinity.
All right.
It's in the network. It's nothing to do within Infinity. Someone can even take what will be generated by this network and use it for app store for computers. It's fine by us. Okay.
So the ICO money that goes for the development of the blockchain only, or also for the gadget?
For the blockchain.
Okay, that makes sense.
Only for the blockchain.
That
Therefore,
makes sense.
we will have equity money. Just to make clear, Infinity is a 4-year-old company. It's not that we were formed to have a blockchain project. No, we were formed to build this technology.
Right.
We raised $25 million. We are
Right.
now in additional round. When we start thinking about the ecosystem, suddenly it hit us that we need blockchain for this real. It's a real need rather than, hey, let's think on a project that nobody needs. We were thinking about introducing this store from the beginning. At the beginning, we thought we will generate, a regular store like everybody is doing today. But then when we start learning about the blockchain, we say, hey, here is a technology that can really solve one of our pain points and our customers and user pain points. And therefore, we decided to start learning it, understanding what does it mean. When we fully grasp it, we decided to embrace it.
But the operating, like Google or Apple or whatever. Okay, those guys who dominate the operating system market, like MS. I mean, are they all this kind of what is that? Like overcharging? Is that like a common practice?
Yeah. Eventually, in the Western world, I don't know how it is in China, right? I'm not familiar with the percentage in China. In the Western world, it's 30%. Very clear. Okay. Think about it. If you're a developer and you need to consume data for your purposes. You have your team building, you have content, and then from the top, someone is charging 30%. It's nearly impossible to get profitable. Okay, and I
Totally
think,
agree.
and I think
That's huge.
30% is unbelievable, right? And I truly believe there is no need currently. But if you think about it, the technology up till blockchain couldn't really support it, okay? Because someone need to build it, curate it, take care of it, screen the application. There wasn't any other mechanism who can do that. Now with the blockchain, you can really source it to the community and say, hey guys,
Right.
you handle it. Suddenly the technology can benefit something that everybody agrees that the business model was fucked up, and now we can.
Totally agree. So Leslie, can you tell our audience about your?
But I'll tell you. So right after, so in Israel the way it works, you go to the army at the age of 18. At the age of 21, you get we said 3 years, and then you go to university. I went to university. I did my first degree in economics, and then my MBA, and started working for an investment firm.
Oh, really?
So yeah, 3 years into the investment firm, and I was investing for this investment firm. It was in 1997 on the high-tech sector in Israel, and suddenly I said, I like working for those guys better than, doing investment. So I was looking for the first job I can do in high-tech section. I was lucky at that time. Motorola was a very big company in Israel, and they were looking for people with business training to do product management, because they said one of their problem is that engineers doesn't think business, they think product.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So I said, let's do the other way. Let's take people with business background and put them into product. So I went there. They did the training for me. That was good. How to become a product manager, and from there, I moved to become the head of value-added services in Motorola Israel, and then I moved to another Israeli high-tech company that was doing value-added services for a network like voicemail, SMS, applications before app stores. So I was there as a marketing guy, handling the product and marketing. Then I moved to another company called Amdocs, which is the leading billing company of the world, doing billing for companies like AT&T around the world, leading there a division who was handling ad network for mobile operators. And then suddenly I thought to myself, I had enough from big corporates. Those are huge corporates. And I joined a small startup called Telmap, who was the first to introduce navigation on a smartphone, have the original patent, and we grew the company for up to, I think, 20 million users, till it was acquired by Intel in 2011. And then after I spent a year in Intel, I left and started Infinity.
And what was your role with the smartphone navigation company?
So I was the chief marketing officer in charge of business development, marketing, and product.
All right.
Okay, I always come from the side of the product and strategy. Okay, so when I started Infinity, I had the idea of the product, I had the strategy. I was looking for a technology partner. So in Israel, it's very common to look for a partner to start a company. So I came across my co-founder. He has a PhD in computer vision. He's coming from the top elite unit in the Israeli army, where he did his degrees in math, computer science, and physics in parallel. And during his work in the Israeli army, he also did his master and PhD in computer vision. He was working for a division within the army who develops missile and drone navigation. So he's very knowledgeable about that. So I text him an email. I have an idea. Would you like to meet? We met for coffee. He liked the idea. He said, "Yeah, I think I can do that," and that's how we started the company.
But he's not the one who's actually really developing the AL operating system.
He is the one who's developing all the algorithm part.
Okay.
If you think the core of this operating system is smart artificial intelligence technology that allows the glasses, if you think about it, the glasses need to understand the world same as human.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
We need to understand the 3D structure around us. We need to know the device position orientation. In the future, we'll need to understand light sources in the room so we can cast the right shadow for the hologram. We will need to understand materials in the room, so if I'm throwing a virtual object, it should interact with the material as well. There are so many other challenges for those glasses to really understand the world as humans. We are still far from that.
And on your website, can people find some demos?
If you go to our website, infinityr.com, you can read everything about the company, the core technology. You can see movies shoot from the system.
Yeah, exactly.
You can read of course, the blockchain project under token generation event tab. You can learn about our team, the expertise of the team.
Okay, cool.
Everything is
so
over
right
there.
now you're in a private sale, or you're
It's a private. Yeah, it's a private sale,
right?
Yeah.
Okay. You have any last words for the audience?
Once again, take a closer look at AR. I think it's really going to change the way we interact with digital content. I think augmented reality, we call it an infinity, the next social technology, and I'll explain to you why. All the technologies we are consuming today are disconnecting us from the world. Starting from TV all the way to smartphone, it's you in front of a screen, disconnected from the world. If we can embrace augmented reality and be able to blend digital content into our world so everybody can share, suddenly it's open. It's the first time we will be able to interact with digital content while still looking into each other's eyes, right? This is the most, I would say, the most primary human interaction, looking at each other's eyes, which is being prevented from us by looking at a TV, computer, or a smartphone. Here we will have a virtual chessboard in front of us. Just think about playing Monopoly with your kids, turning your living room into New York, Sydney, or Seoul.
Right.
It's an amazing experience.
But don't you think, I was always worried about, these AL things. It looks really fascinating, but isn't there any possibility that it will damage your vision?
So here it's the same projection technology as any other screen. So if you're not afraid of looking at your screen for 6 hours, don't be afraid to look at augmented reality.
I mean,
glasses.
is this working?
Yeah, you can try the demo over there. The team is showcasing.
Okay, definitely I will do that. Okay.
Come and try.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very good interview. I learned a lot about the AL and everything.
I think the most challenging part, if you have the Apple approach that they build customized chipset, customized operating system, it's not opening up for the world. What Infinity is trying to do is to run the operating system on the regular off-the-shelf chipsets by Qualcomm, off-the-shelf sensors of a regular smartphone. By that, we allow many manufacturers to penetrate this market and grow the market quickly.
Yeah, it's not like, selfishly, we're just going to dominate the market. It's more like, everybody can.
Everybody, if you would like now to build augmented reality glasses, come to Infinity. You pay for the license, but the operating system, we give you all the guide you need. And by the way, as your business is growing, we will charge you less and less license because this is not our business model.
Okay, anyway, you guys, you understood, right? So this was Tom Koo from Tom Koo Live, and get ready for the next challenge. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you very much, Motti.